Well, let's talk House versus NCAA. A lot of kind of fan questions about this as far as what this is going to change for mid-majors, like SIU. I guess first reaction, I know this has been a long time in the works. This isn't anything new. You guys have been talking about this for a while. What's kind of been the reaction from you and other ADs?
Well, I mean, yeah, to your point earlier, I think we went through all that reaction and emotion of, oh my gosh, what are we doing? A little over a year ago. And now we've all been working on it, planning for it. Now it's almost a relief that, okay, look, it's here. We've got our plans. Let's move forward and let's enter this new era. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for everybody because as a result of the settlement, now there's a $2.8 billion payback, if you will.
Yeah.
And so we all have to pitch into that. So now we have less revenue coming in, and now we have expenses that have gone up because now if you're going to be competitive at all in a number of sports, but in our case, particularly men's basketball, you're going to have to commit. You're going to have to do revenue share, which we are going to do and planning on doing, and we're going to have a competitive roster every year as a result. Um, but yeah, that makes for some challenges because that's you know a big. I mean, it's a seven-figure swing.
Yeah.
You know, added expense minus some revenue, and you're like, you got to figure it out. And so we've done some things, internally. We're going to reprioritize some of our um, expenditures and where we're placing resources. It's not ideal. It's not what I would necessarily like to do. Um, but it is what it is, and we're going to do what we can to make sure that our athletics department is competitive, that we're successful, and make sure that the student athletes here have a great experience. So we're just going to have to do a little bit differently.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sure that's kind of comes with the territory of being a mid-major. Is there anything you guys can do to push back, other ADs from, non-Power Five schools? You guys talking about that kind of stuff?
Not as much as I would like.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd really like to push back. I think everybody feels like this is the agreement that we had to make to keep Division One unified and for everyone to have access to postseason championships. I guess my feeling is, I've been doing this for a long, long time, and over the last 30 years, the higher, bigger conferences, I call it the anaconda theory, right? They've
Yep.
been just tightening, 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 trying to push us out, push us out, push us out. And, now the difference between what is the Power Four and everybody else is so dramatic. That's why I always say, I mean, college athletics, the game's rigged. I mean, it really is. All the rules, all the policies, everything is geared to make sure a handful of schools can be successful and that everybody else is at a competitive disadvantage. And they've succeeded in that. Um, and I'd like to fight back, but everybody's concerned that they're just going to leave if we push them too much. And
Hmm.
my philosophy is they're going to leave anyway.
Yeah.
They may not leave today, but that's their ultimate goal is they want to leave, get away and get it down to who knows how many, 50 schools maybe. Um, I, you know, so I'm like, yeah, let them go. I'd rather push them out now before they're ready to leave than let them leave on their own terms because that's
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
Yeah, probably right either way. It's all the money game, I'm sure. MVC giving you guys any kind of direction in terms of here's what we can do from the conference perspective, or they're at least hopefully acknowledging that this is a huge challenge. Like, what are you hearing from the MVC?
Yeah, I mean, they've been really good about, and the commissioner, Jeff Jackson, has been really good about communicating to us what all the other conferences are planning on doing and how they're, using their revenues, what they're going to do from a revenue share standpoint, where we need to be competitive. all those types of things. I mean, we all have to figure out he can't dictate to us what each campus is going to do to, uh, attack this or strategize with this. But he's been very helpful, and we're a top 10 basketball conference, and we don't plan on losing that status. We know we're going to have to step it up and continue, and hopefully we have a chance to leapfrog another conference in this process. But everybody's trying to do the same thing, so
Okay.
that'll be hard.
Yep. And then what you said, you mentioned revenue share. So is that something that you guys start July 1, like according to like when it can kind of get started, or is that going to be something you kind of phase in? Like what's the plan there?
No, it'll get started July 1.
Okay.
So,
Interesting. Any details on what that looks like, or is that something that's still in the works?
well, it's still kind of in the works.
Yeah.
How we have to setting up a new business model, if you will, trying to reorganize where we put our ticket revenue, sponsorship revenue, donations, so that we can do revenue share. Um, so we've got some, legal work that we have to do to get ironed out, but we've been working on that since October. So we're in the final stages of that.
You're a creative guy. I know there's some way to do this thing. You'll figure it out. NIL, or in terms of the collective. So Pride of Little Egypt, is that still a thing? Do you still want fans parking money there? Like, is that going to change too? What does that look like?
Yeah, we actually had a meeting with that yesterday. Ultimately, what we'll do is we'll still leave it up as the Pride of Little Egypt, but really not going to use that as a collective. And in fact, what we'll do here shortly is we'll reach out to those folks that are making, monthly or annual contributions to that fund and ask them to switch over and make it to the SIU Foundation.
Gotcha.
I think that'll be better for everybody. Um, and put that in there, and then we'll use our ticket revenue, sponsorship revenue, and all that as our revenue share. And then this way, it works out better for the donors, because now it'll go on their giving record here at SIU. It's tax deductible. It's all of those things.
Yep.
And we really don't need a collective at this point in terms of a business model that we needed to getting engaged with that. That was last year. We don't need to do that moving forward.
Yep.
So that's the good news. And yet we'll still have true NIL deals, right? Where companies are going to want to pick a student athlete to represent their business, be associated with them, whatever that is. So there'll still be those opportunities out there. And those are the things that I get really excited about, right? Those are true name, image, likeness. And if a student athlete wants to get really creative and build on their brand, and in fact, they could take a page out of Walt Frazier's book on how to build a brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that guy was the
You
original.
was out there with him,
Yeah.
weren't you? Yeah.
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 Yeah. He was the OG on that. But yeah, I mean, that's what student athletes will be able to do now here. But then we'll also be able to share in some revenue for some sports.
I only laugh when you mention Pride of Little Egypt being last year. I mean, things are changing so fast. That was such a huge push for you guys last year. Like, let's get this thing set up. 1 year later, we're kind of forced to shift out of that model. I mean, how do you keep yourself personally? How do you keep yourself kind of able to work through all these change? I mean, that's change management to the max and keeping your team on the same page. Like, I mean, that's just a lot to handle.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to ask my wife that. I know
She's the
I've
one
driven her
doing
crazy a lot.
it.
Coming home all wigged out and
Yeah.
stressed out, frustrated, and all that. But fortunately, I mean, we've got a great chancellor here. Chancellor Lane has been awesome through all this. He understands that, we didn't make the rules, but we got to figure out how to live within the rules, and we
Yep.
got to figure out how to be competitive. But at the same token, we can't go crazy. So but we're all dealing with it, right? Everybody in the league is dealing with it. And that's what I like about the Missouri Valley is I don't feel like there's, one or two programs that are just so much better shape and so further ahead than everybody that we can't catch up. I mean, anybody can win this league. And obviously, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Any other suggestions or how, ways for fans or businesses to kind of get more involved? I know you said parking money with the foundation kind of thing, but what else would you tell fans for like, how can we help?
The biggest thing is just be engaged,
Yeah.
right? Be engaged. Go to the games, buy tickets, go to the games, buy shirts, buy concessions, bring friends. I mean, the biggest thing that we can do is rally as a region, right? The more people that are at our games, the better off we're going to be. It creates a better atmosphere. It'll help us generate money, but most importantly, then it's an economic impact to the region.
Hmm.
The more people that are in there, the better off it is for everybody. And that's what I would encourage people is let's have some Southern Illinois pride and really fight for our community. And one of those ways is to be active, be engaged, come to the games, go to the games, bring your family, friends, encourage everybody. Hey, let's go root for the Dogs.
Yeah, love it. Well, rapid fire, a couple questions outside of NCAA and House and everything that's happening there, because I know that's going to change. Next week, there'll be other news out, and that's just kind of how it is.
100%.
Let's talk about football. Football's coming up. I was fortunate enough to go out with you guys last year to BYU. DJ Williams looked like he belonged in that game and ran all over him, and then he gets injured, unfortunately. But what do you expect out of DJ this year? I think he's got a chance to do something pretty special.
Yeah, we think so too. I know the coaches are really excited. Um, last year was just crazy.
Yeah.
I'd never been around a football season like that where you had so many injuries and we played four quarterbacks because we had to.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. But if we can stay healthy, we got a lot of pieces. DJ is really good. And the coaches tell me, he's a guy that everybody rallies around. They want to play with DJ. He's a leader. Um, I like that, right? You don't get a lot of guys like that.
Yep.
So when you get one, we want to make sure we keep him healthy and let him do his thing. I mean, we think if he has a great year, he could put himself in position to be the Walter Payton Award winner.
He looked really
I
good
mean,
last year. I mean, you saw what
yeah,
BYU turned into, and he kind of had his way with them a little bit out there. So that was interesting.
yeah. I mean, we think he's that talented and he's that good. And obviously Nick knows what to do with offensive players and particularly
Yep.
quarterbacks. And so if our line can stay healthy and we feel really good about the offensive line, um, it could be I mean, I think it's going to be a fun and exciting fall. I really do. And like I say, we've got a special player in DJ that is worth the price of admission. So I hope people come out to watch him because he's an
Yeah.
exciting player.
What about men's hoops? I know you've been at practices, as camps have been going on or workouts. How are things coming together? I mean, a lot of new guys, but also brought back quite a bit of guys in terms of like six people who were active last year, and that was something that, Nagy didn't have last year.
Yeah, I love our pieces. The roster that Coach put together is outstanding. Last year I look back at that, how crazy it was. Bringing in a staff. He has to hire a staff first and foremost. You get them here, they don't have a place to live. We're trying to find them temporary places to live. They're living out of a hotel room. I think we actually got them at one place where like they were three guys in one area, just crashing on couches and trying to go out and recruit. And we knew we didn't get all the pieces last year. We were really, really thin in the backcourt. And obviously, once Elijah Elliott went down, then it got real ugly. I mean, we just, now you're trying to make Kennard Davis a point guard. And,
Yep.
it just, I think we had some success, but we just didn't have all the pieces there. And by allowing our coaches now and that team to be here for a year, and they could be they have a lot more time to go out and recruit the kind of players that fit for what Coach Nagy wants to do. And I think, we'll have the right pieces in terms of the skill set. We got a point guard. I am so excited for people to see Kelron House play. I mean, this kid, holy cow. I mean, I get it. It's 2 weeks into the summer, but we haven't had a point guard in a while, so he looks really good, and then all the other pieces, but they have the right type of mentality as well, right? We didn't have all of that last year, and I think this year we hit on a lot more of the right kind of pieces, both from a physical and skill set as well as a mental standpoint and personality standpoint. I think it's going to be a good fit, and then I think we have enough talent and enough pieces. The bigger question is, can we get them to execute at a high enough level, play together at a high enough level to win the league? Because I think we have enough pieces to win the league. It's just a matter of, are our pieces as good, if not better, than everybody else's pieces, and can they execute at a higher level than anybody else?
Yeah, and it feels like that's kind of what transfer portal, that's going to be the issue every year, probably trying to find that togetherness as quickly as possible, and kind of make a run. So,
Yes.
um, saw on Facebook that you got a new lawnmower, John Deere tractor. Um,
Yeah.
do you have what's the best song ever about John Deere? Is it Joe Diffie, John Deere Green? I know you mentioned you're a big George Jones fan. Like,
Well, yeah, I was just thinking, George Jones, that's when he had to drive down to the local watering hole because he'd lost his driver's license. So, yeah, I'm thinking about driving my John Deere down to the Midland Inn one of these nights. So,
If anyone sees Tim Leonard on his John Deere driving to Midland, please call us and get a video of that. We will post it
yes.
on X.
Yeah, but it is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's not a lawnmower, it's a lawn tractor.
Tractor. That's right. That's right.
Yes, I
Yeah.
just like to be able to say that I have a tractor and now I can, pull something with it or do something, I don't know. It'll be
Well, not
fun.
related to this interview, but do you have kind of we always talk about underdogs. We love to find the kids and the student athletes who aren't necessarily, kind of highly recruited, or we love the walk-ons. We love those stories because I feel like that's what SIU is compared to the Power Four or Power Five. We are kind of that underdog school. So going back to all your years, or even professionally, I mean, do you have somebody who sticks out to you as being true underdog, made an impact on you and said, man, I really liked watching that kid play?
Yeah, there's been several
Yeah.
throughout my career. One of my all-time favorites was a guy when I was at SMU named Kelvin Beacham,
Mm.
and just so impressive. This kid came from a small town, Bahia, Texas. Comes in and I think he was a 3-year starter, maybe a 4-year starter.
Hmm.
But just so impressive. I mean, this is a guy who would get up at 5 o'clock every morning so he could study, get his homework done, do all that thing. I mean, he was as hard a worker as you've ever seen. Really engaged himself um, on campus in the community. He was the president of SAC. Remember his senior year, he led the efforts, raised the money to take a group of students over to Mississippi to do a Medgar Evers trip and learn about the civil rights and march in the 60s and so forth. I mean, just an impressive guy. And so I met him after a couple years later. I was the AD at Towson. We went and met up in DC. He was in town. I remember him telling me about Kelvin Beacham Inc., his masseuse, his trainer, his dietitian, all these people that he hired
Yeah.
because he said, look, here's going to be my goal. I'm going to be a professional speaker and when I'm done. So I'm working on that now. And he said, I'm going to get 10 years in the NFL. That's my goal. I want to play for 10 years. And what's crazy is the guy's still playing.
Yeah.
I think he's going on his 14th or 15th year.
Yeah.
And, when he played with the Steelers, there was one year when he was with the Steelers where he played every position on the offensive line. He played center, guard, tackle, and tight end, mainly because he was that smart and he studied and he could pick things up. Obviously, he was athletic enough. It's funny, his nickname I heard in the NFL. He didn't tell me this, but I actually talked with somebody who worked with the Steelers, and they said, yeah, his nickname was Bad Body Beacham. If you size body, you're going, that's a professional football player. But intense, great, great athleticism, but most importantly, just how he attacked life.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so impressive. And when you're around the guy, I mean, I just remember that going, man, this guy's in college and I'm inspired by him.
That's
I
awesome.
wanted to be better because of Kelvin.
Mm.
Someday when he's done playing, I want to try to bring him in and have him speak to our student athletes because the guy was so inspirational.
He's one of my favorite follows on LinkedIn, honestly. I'm a Steelers fan. There's Franco Harris is on my wall behind me there. I remember that season. Beecham was everywhere because I mean, the whole line was ravaged too. The stories that I heard about him and what he did in the community too in Pittsburgh are just huge. So, yeah, that's a great pick. I love that.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Awesome. Baseball and softball, great seasons. We interviewed Jackie Liss, Jen Sewell, Matt Shark. We had all sorts of good interviews during these seasons. We know that both teams were really successful. Murray State getting to Omaha. What's your recap on what you saw from both softball and baseball?
Softball, I couldn't be more excited about that program. That is our right now our best program. And the job that Jen Sewell has done is just really impressive. Arguably one of the best coaches I've got, if not the best. I mean, she is really good. She's organized, she's intense, has got a strategy, a plan. I think she's crushed it in recruiting. Um, you know, we're not exempt from losing people, right? We just lost a couple of good players, Jackie Liss going to Texas Tech and Anna Carter going to Mississippi State. But we just replaced them both, right? We got good players coming in and really excited about our catcher for next year that she's bringing in. I mean, she's bringing in talent. She knows what she's doing. In fact, I'm working right now to get her a new contract. We want to make sure that we take care of her and that I think she's the best coach in the league, so we should pay her as such, and that's my goal. I want to reward success and those who are consistently at the top of the league. And it's unfortunate this year we didn't make the NCAA tournament. I think if it was a double elimination conference tournament, we probably would have been there again. But we won the regular season and got to the championship game, and we're right there where we want to be, and I think we'll be in that same position next year.
Yep.
Baseball, yeah. I mean, Murray State making it to the World Series, phenomenal story, national story. Really excited, and I think that also tells you how good baseball is in the Valley, because this has been 3 straight years we've had a team make it to the Super Regionals, and it's been a different team every year,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Indiana State, Evansville, Murray making it to a Super Regional. Of course, this year Murray getting all the way to the World Series, and we've come close to winning the league under Lance, but somehow we got to figure out how we get over that hump. We're investing at a high level in baseball, and I would like to see us, get to that national stage, and let's see what we can do. Because yeah, it's getting a lot of attention,
Yeah,
and
it's been all over the place. Yeah.
yeah, that's worth a lot of money, right? And
Good PR.
that's going to
Yep.
do a lot for their program.
Yep.
So I say kudos to Murray. They've done some tremendous things down there.
You know who we like talking about or talking to was Graham Orr, your women's soccer coach. If you are ever going to get a beer with that guy at Midland, just let us know. We'd love to tag along. His accent was awesome, and man, does he love that program.
Did you put subtitles in on the
I
broadcast with
didn't, yeah,
Graham?
I don't think we needed him in the story. If I did a live interview, I might have to. But yeah, it was more written piece, but he was awesome. He was cracking me up.
Yeah, I like him a lot,
Yeah.
and he's done a nice job, right? He's trying to build a culture in there and do it right, and each year they just are getting better and better. So,
Yep.
uh, yeah, he's done a great job.
Awesome. Well, that's good, Tim. I appreciate you.